Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Welcome back to our weekly rip around downtown Disney and Disney's California Adventure, where weekly we document everything new that's happening out at the resort. This is the transitional week where the holidays start to come down. There used to be a nice Christmas display there. It'll be fun to see next week what takes its place, and that's the fun of this video series. As a former Wonderground artist, I was very critical of Wonderground being removed from downtown Disney, as I believed it added so much culture to the park. However, they knew what they were doing. The Star Wars Galaxy's Edge temporary pop-up shop has been the most successful store in all of downtown Disney. Out of all the new things that have popped up over the shutdowns, this has been the one that seems to always have the longest line of folks waiting out front. And being honest, when I did my holiday shopping, that was where I bought one of the items that I gave out for the holiday season, a Kylo Ren lightsaber to my nephew, which he enjoyed so much. As we look across from those shops, over here you can see just where this California shutdown is really taking out a lot of the culture, a lot of the vibes, a lot of the leisure out of downtown Disney. Poor Splitsville, they were open for what, maybe 10 days? And then this new restriction took place and they said, nah. You'll remember back in the beginning of December, the DVC villas were supposed to open up at the Grand Californian. That didn't end up materializing once all the food was taken out of the resort. It's like you can't have people staying here if there's not a place for them to go grab food, get a beverage. So it'll be interesting to see when food and beverage comes back to the resort, how much long after that will DVC members be allowed to reclaim their villas. In a bizarre retail move, Pandora was closed before the holidays and then decided to open up post-holidays. I did go up into the window though, and I can't believe that I'm in a moment in my life where the exciting thing is going to downtown Disney and filming Pandora Star Wars charms. But as a designer, I have taken an oath to always celebrate both good and bad design, and I love these charms. I'm now going to become a Pandora person. I'm not going to wear the bracelet, but hey, good design's good design, and I love me some Star Wars. So good on you, Pandora, for making some fun merchandise, and who knows, it's probably been around for months. Even though World of Disney still had 2 or 3 of their holiday windows up, they did have a couple of new windows, and I really enjoy this Goofy and Pluto illustration in front of Big Thunder Mountain. And then we have Chip and Dale recreating the famous Mark Davis gag that wasn't original to the Jungle Cruise, that was added to it at a later time to put a little bit more humor into Disneyland. But I do love to see them celebrate the attractions of the park. And speaking of the devil, this Mickey-shaped map of the park is phenomenal. Taking favorite landmarks of Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure, simplifying them in this illustration style, sprinkling them around in a way that really makes no sense whatsoever. Absolutely love it. And then if you look, there's a map or a pathway, right? And that pathway sort of goes around and illuminates. It makes the entire outline of Mickey, and then a gradient sort of dissipates over the entire background, and then it happens all over again. I love that illustration of Carthay Circle down there at the bottom. But it's hard to film this during the day. You can see my reflection at times more than you can actually see the art piece. But I just really, really love when they take the park itself, repackage it, merchandise it, and put that charming character of Disneyland into their merchandise. We come here because we love the park, and often I feel that it becomes about the characters in the movies. I'm a park guy. I want more park guy merchandise and things that celebrate the park. So I really like this line. I was excited to see that the actual window piece is a print. I mean, I wouldn't carry that clench bag, but I did like to see that it was used as a solid merchandising piece. And then over here on Dog Bowl Ashtray, I guess that's your adventure. That's for you to decide. Inside of Disney's California Adventure, we started to see some of the Happy New Year, the Chinese New Year merchandise that pops up. As you know, most times we would get the New Year celebration. One of the things that takes place in Disney's California Adventure, as it has become the destination for celebrating holidays and seasons and festivals all throughout the year. Really do enjoy these New Year inspired Mickey headbands. I had to get it just right to look at these Mickey ears. The pattern on the ears is really nice and subtle. I enjoy that. Holiday merchandise went from 30%, 50%, now down to 70%. I've never seen a sale inside of Disneyland. So to see one this drastic really indicates the times that we're in and how much merchandise they must have ordered when times were going really, really well. And then we all know what happened this holiday season. Mandalorian spoiler, it does look like that maybe Baby Yoda, aka Gargoo, may not be around a lot in season 3, and I bet the two Bobs, Chapek and Iger, will be like, no, Favreau. Coronavirus has taken our parks. You cannot take the child away from us. We need to keep moving this merchandise. Disney leaning hard on Baby Yoda this season, which I think is going to be a fun part of this video series. Now that the holidays have passed, there's no food and beverage at the resort. It's going to be all about merchandise. So are they going to double down and bring in a lot of new merch to bring in guests? Or are they just going to sort of tread water and know that right now the idea isn't to have a lot of people at the resort? It's going to be interesting times to document. We can see now Carthay Circle has become this little market of balloons and various popcorn buckets and sippers, but you can't get the popcorn or the sippers. But man, seeing these balloons in front of the marquee for the Carthay Circle, that's a strong Disney look. This made me happy. And later on, when the sun went down, I realized those up balloons do have lights inside of them, which is kind of neat for a balloon that lights up. You can see here that they're just basically using the old area where we would wait for our table as a balloon setup station. These popcorn buckets would have probably blown out in regular times, and Mickey and Minnie still just hanging out. This was kind of a cheat though, because this was last year's popcorn bucket, just that the tree was green and not white. Jack Skellington hanging out, the Sipper hanging out. Simba showed up. Onward, Jack Skellington Sipper from a couple years ago. Is this merchandise that they were sitting on? Or are these new designs? I'm not really in this world, so please let me know if you know something that I don't. But you can see the Simba premium bucket there with a shoulder strap, 1850, limit 5. I remember this Jack Skellington was like a huge hit, maybe a Halloween season or two ago. And then this one really freaked me out. Onward? Wasn't that movie a bust? That seemed like an interesting thing to pop up. And then you can see they're still trying to move this holiday merchandise. So I don't know if some of that merchandise is just items they're trying to liquidate, but I do like how they're using the Carthay Circle waiting area, the porch area there, as a little shop, because it cleans up the sight lines for the street a lot more. This is what it looked like the last couple of weeks. And it just really, there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of people being here, but it just felt a bit cluttered. And even though it's an empty Disneyland, I still like for it to be a well-designed Disneyland. So I do prefer this look a lot more, because whenever Disney feels more like a real city, to me, that's always a perk. So even though there is a sidewalk cell when we look back down around the offset hub, it just feels a lot tidier. And then when we look down Hollywood Boulevard, it feels like a real street. I love these two. I absolutely love these two. Absolute legends. You're my heroes. As you remember, Gone Hollywood had opened just before the holiday season. A lot of people were disappointed because it only had holiday merchandise in it. This was it. The last time we were doing the series, episode 5, which was about a week and a half ago. I took a week off for the holidays and it felt great. But it only had holiday merchandise inside of it because that's their number one goal, to liquidate this merchandise before it's too late and has to go down to 70%. So I guess with the holidays passing, they didn't really see the need at the moment to keep Gone Hollywood open. I bet probably when new merch comes into place, they'll reopen it. This area over here on the studio backlot, this had become a big holiday liquidation area, and it's definitely slowed down because it's all 70% off Christmas items. But if you're looking to stock up for next year, you just want some fun stuff to wear next holiday when, fingers crossed, we can all get back inside the park, now is a great time to get a savings because you also get to use your annual pass savings on top of that. Mandalorian merchandise everywhere. Whenever you see this black box, that always means that we're time traveling. There were spider bots there for the entire time the shop had been open, and the spider bots got yanked out. So I'm really interested why the spider bots are no longer around here. But yes, the black box always in this series indicates that we are time traveling. And that also shows up in my perimeter series, where once a month I document the exact perimeter of the park so we can see anything that has changed as these times are going on. Studio 17, the backlot premiere shop, is now accessible from DCA. That happened the week before Christmas, and they're just going to keep rolling with that. It makes sense. It's a very far area down on the Esplanade, and it was cool when that was all that was there. It gave you a reason to go further, but now we're in this time where we just need something to do inside the resort. So you can see, obviously, before the holidays, it was much, much busier, which kind of gets to my theory of these next weeks. As we get further away from Christmas, you get more and more into a dead retail season. What are they going to do without food and beverage at the resort to keep bringing people in? Friends, we've reached the end of our journey, looking at all new things this week at Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. If you're looking for something to listen to while you're out walking the dog or driving the car, check out the new episode of the Disneyland For Designers podcast. This week I talk about 20 things that I learned during 2020 about my love of Disneyland. Available wherever you podcast. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And as always, with our weekly visit around the resort, I like to leave you with some park sounds. This is something I came up with about a month ago and something I'll keep doing because it's important to remember that we will get back to better times inside the resort. So thank you so much for taking this weekly lap with me. Until the next time I can ride on the red car trolley with you through a packed and busy Disney's California Adventure, I'll see you back here on the channel with more Disneyland news.
Folks, this trolley will be providing services between Hollywood Tower Hotel and Buena Vista Street with one stop at the Carthay Circle. Now our motto here on the red car trolley is comfort, speed, and safety. We're also friendly and informative, so today I will be talking about points of interest along our route. Right now we are currently traveling westbound on Hollywood Boulevard in the heart of Hollywood Land. Now all the buildings on this boulevard represent Los Angeles architecture back in the 1920s and 30s. Alright folks, it looks like we'll be exiting Hollywood Land and entering the busy downtown section of Buena Vista Street, Carthay Circle.